And like I told you, the list just continues and continues. Obviously, many of you absolutely recognize this guy. He is somebody that needs to be part of this. He's a friend of mine. We've done podcasts together. I've known him for years. We have Torsten, the rideshare professor. Torsten, thank you for joining.
Thank you so much. And as you know, I always love being on your show because you keep it real and you bring up probably the most important topics. So for anyone out there, even in my audience, you're going to watch the video, make 100% sure you follow Steve's podcast, The Rideshare Rodeo. Awesome to see you, buddy.
Yeah, awesome to see you. I hate that it has to be about this. I mean, we're always talking about hard subjects, but this one hits home to me very hard because it's my state. The town hall that we had out here when Sergio was out and other people, and I know
Yeah.
you even tried to make it. That was the beginning of it. Stephanie built the bill. Stephanie is the beginning of this piece here tonight, um, and she walks us through all this, and now here we are, and we're talking about it. And bill went into effect, got signed into law June 24th of last year, and here we are in the 11th hour before February 1st. And of course, it's to be expected. Uber drops a lawsuit on Colorado. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
I think, we got to sort of take an eagle approach, get some elevation and look down on what they're trying to do here. Obviously, they're sending a very, very strong message to all gig workers. Don't mess around with us. If you bring legislation in a state, we're ready, and they have the money. So I think it's scare tactics at the same time, scare tactics towards the gig workers, but at the same time, I think they're really showing their true colors on this one because they are truly scared, right?
Oh yeah.
To use the word, don't shame us, and then
Yeah.
sort of hide behind this First Amendment blanket. I mean, this is dangerous, because other corporations are watching this, right? Other
Oh,
corporations are watching
100%.
super closely, and I came across a great journalist out of your state. I don't know if you know him, David
I saw
Stegman.
the article yesterday and I saw your
Yeah,
video
and
today.
and if I
So
may, I just want to quote two paragraphs because,
sure, go ahead.
man, does the man sum it up, right? So at the time of the legislation passed, Uber publicly accepted the new requirements. It negotiated the details with lawmakers and said it had nothing to hide. Um, but with the law's implementation date approaching, the company is making an about face, rushing to court to block the rules. It argues requiring disclosure of its pricing practices violates its First Amendment rights. The hypocrisy of this move is staggering. Uber spent months working with Colorado lawmakers, giving every indication it would comply with the law. Now it claims complying would infringe on its constitutional rights. Can you imagine ordinary people getting away with such a bait and switch? Now, this word bait and switch, right? They completely wasted the lawmakers' time. They played along. They played along. You and Sergio know
Which is
so
tax
much.
dollar money too.
Yeah, exactly. It's Colorado's
Yep.
uh, Colorado's money. You and Sergio are completely dialed into this case. You know all the little the little intricate fine details, but to shy away from full disclosure, I think this is really what it is, and this is where they're showing their true colors. Because God forbid the rider knew what the driver is receiving, and the driver knew what the rider is paying. Full disclosure. So if you sort of read that quote again, what happened is, hey, we're gonna string you on to the final hour, and then we're just gonna do a complete flip and turn, and we're gonna turn around and sue you, extract as much information from the lawmakers. What do they really want to get at? Like, what are they pushing for? And then, like, sorry, we're not going to play ball. So just afraid to show numbers and hiding in the dark behind all those numbers. That's really what this case is about. And like I said, also a strong message to other states. And we look at these states; they're all mobilizing, right? They're all following the roadmap and introducing and working more and more coordinated with politicians and legislators. They see some of the success models in Washington, in New York, and great Colorado's on board, and a couple of others have made massive inroads, Massachusetts, etc. And more states will follow. But the message is here: if you want to mobilize against us, there's punishment. Now punishment came in form of that message that they pushed out. I mean, you actually sent it to me. You sent me that piece of information where, hey, this is what we're gonna take away from you. And this really affects diamond drivers, gold drivers, platinum drivers, etc. Okay, and many people don't participate in that, but they took away key elements. The destination filter, the right to, get a direct. Some people love that direct help if they call up the customer service. They don't want to sit in that wheel. They want like one-on-one service. So certain drivers are incentivized by those rewards, but suddenly it's like, hey, we're gonna pull those back. And I think that message had a broader meaning, because it basically means, hey, look at what we're doing to these Colorado drivers. You try that elsewhere, we're going to start taking away. It's not like, hey, what can we do for you? How can we work together? How can we strengthen you? What can we give you? It's the takeaway. And this is just how they offer. Again, if you read the wording bait and switch, hey, here, I have something for you. Just like, for example, let's use a example from the past. The EVs, go out and buy an EV. We're going to incentivize you, we're going to pay you more. That lasted a year, and then they took it away. California, hey, we have this multiplier here. You can set your own rates. Go for it. They took it away.
Really that one didn't last long at all.
It didn't last. It lasted exactly 1 year. But that's that's who they are. I'm surprised that Lyft didn't join in on this one. But this just,
I feel like, here's my take on that. I feel like Lyft is just like, let them handle it. They're not real deep in the pockets right now, so maybe they're just like,
hey. I think they're hurting a little bit, to be quite honest. I think Lyft is. But
so if I could, here's the last thing I'd like to ask you, because we just have a couple minutes left. You and I have had many podcasts on safety. Safety is mentioned throughout this lawsuit, and it actually doesn't even belong, because if you read the whole lawsuit, when it comes into play around page 30 of the 50, it's like, by that time, you're already trying to figure out how their First Amendment was violated. And even the you can approach it from all angles, and you can maybe see it for a second, but you can easily find a way to go, no, that doesn't make sense. So, but when it gets to safety, I was almost disgusted to read the things that I was reading in there. And I was like, why are they in here? Why did you guys put these in here? They don't belong. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about. It's supposed to be this isn't a law about money per active hour. This is like all the other states. This is a transparency and right to challenge a deactivation law. That's it. And so
the can you fill me in a little bit? You said you read it up, and then it comes in at about what, paragraph 30 they start. What do they essentially say in the lawsuit? I mean, why are they suing?
I mean, they're just saying how they, I mean, it's just wordage that you and I would not like. It's like we go out of our way for our driver's safety. And I'm almost puking in my own mouth saying, Torsten and I have done videos on this where we specifically talk about how you do the worst job.
Yeah, well, the reality check, and hopefully we also have a lot of people from the public, not just gig workers, watching your podcast or watching this video. And it's really our job to educate the rider, educate the public, especially around safety. They love throwing that word out there, and we have verification. We check these individuals against third-party databases. I mean, a third-party database could be Dara's friend's company. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These are no hardcore databases where criminals or other people that shouldn't be on the platform are hiding. So there is no proper safety protocol. And the only thing they like to throw out there is this, the 911 feature. Well, it's a little too late when you have a person with a gun against your head or a knife against your throat. You just really can't dial 911. So nothing there, I think, gives all three parties, like the public that's thinking, okay, do I sign up with Uber or Lyft? Maybe no, because every single day these safety issues seem to be in the news. I'm not quite sure if I want to onboard with Uber or Lyft or get my teenager involved, right? Then the rider who's already downloaded the app is thinking, just seeing these stories every single day, and you know what, Steve, they cannot get out of this news cycle. It's every day.
No,
And
I mean,
so,
now it's worse than when you and I mean, by
yeah,
far, than
and
when we first
you and
started
I have
talking
covered
about this.
you and I have covered this topic many, many times. It's just getting worse. I mean, there are more stories in the news every single day. It used to be, isolated 2, 3 a week. Then it was one a day. Now it's multiple a day. So, PR wise, trying to get out of this, they're losing that battle. And the good thing here, drivers, listen up, is that you are keeping the story alive. Steve running a podcast on this with me, we're keeping the story alive, and it's our duty, our job to really circulate these stories that we push them out on Facebook, push them out in the media, make your own videos. This is how we implement collective pressure on these companies and say, look, public, they still haven't done anything about it. And 2-3 months later, they still haven't done anything about it. Stephen, the reality is these guys are not willing to spend $20 to $50 million to do a complete overhaul on the app and find things that work, right? Yep. This 9/11 nonsense by teaming up with ADT. I mean, this is like, these are the oldest and dumbest ideas out there. And Derek Oshashawi, you know that I love talking to you directly, and to David Risher, if you're listening, and I hope they watch this podcast. Safety, when you're talking verification, I know you're afraid to kick out all those bad elements off the app because you actually make money from these individuals, but it would help your platforms to do proper verification, meaning against databases that are available to you, which would force you to get rid of certain individuals. They're still in our cars, they're still in the backseat, they're still committing the same crimes. Nothing has changed. That little blue icon with a tick hasn't changed, nada, nothing yet, nichts, right?
No.
And so spend the money, keep the people safe, the riders and the drivers, and you'll have less stories on the headlines in the news and the 9 o'clock news. And then you would actually see people feeling a little bit more confident signing up and downloading that app. Safety is a big one, Steve. I mean, we complain about.
That's why I was so upset to see it in the lawsuit.
Yeah, we complain about pay number one, but right after that is safety, and I know that riders and drivers just do not feel safe anymore on the platform. So I hope they buckle up and start doing something about it, something real, not just these, pretend ideas or pretend pilot ideas. They're not working. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Well, Torsten, thank you for your time so much. I'm glad that you needed to be part of this piece, and I'm hoping that, like you, everybody, that the right people are going to see this. They need to see this.
And the cool thing is here, you've brought several great parties together. You're bringing in Sergio, you're bringing in the lady that wrote the bill. So it should be a good story. I'm going to keep on pushing it from my end, and I'm super excited. And when does this go out? On Tuesday?
So because of some new news that's about to come out from the court, it will premiere Monday, January 27th, tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific.
Perfect. And then I'll drop a couple of more, sound bites in my channel, so we can get a lot of attention on this matter. And then again, Colorado drivers, help us get. This is about you. Colorado riders, this is about you, not just the drivers, but 100%. Riders and drivers alike. You're both involved in this lawsuit. Get involved, get active, and get the story out. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, I appreciate yours as well. Thank you, Torsten.
Cool.